The mystery revealed on July 7, 2025 was not thunderous. It was not accompanied by the roar of mountains or the trembling of oceans. It arrived silently, like the breath you take without thinking. And because it arrived in stillness, only the still could perceive it. The world waited for signs in the sky, but the true signal was within. The revelation was not about a new place, a new war, or a hidden book unearthed from ancient sands. It was about the self, about the hidden chamber within the human soul, where the divine speaks without words. The mystery was not new, it has always been here. But it was revealed to those who had prepared the inner ground, who had plucked the weeds of fear and doubt, and who had watered the soil of discipline. Many missed it, not because they were evil or undeserving, but because their attention was elsewhere. They searched in the noise and overlooked the silence. They looked to leaders and forgot the guidance already written in their own being. The mystery is that the divine has always lived inside the disciplined mind and the focused breath. The mystery is that every answer ever sought by sages, seekers, and prophets is embedded in your awareness, waiting to be uncovered. Not invented, not created, but remembered. The modern world, with its speed and distractions, has turned the gaze outward. We are taught to chase, to compete, to compare, but the divine does not reside in these outer movements. The divine dwells in the motionless center, the center that never leaves, never changes, and never judges. That is the sanctuary the world forgot, and that was the mystery revealed. To those with eyes that have been trained to see and ears that have been tuned through patience and practice, the revelation did not surprise them. It confirmed what they already knew, that mastery of the self is not a destination but a daily alignment, that peace is not found but allowed, that clarity is not chased but uncovered when the mind ceases its rebellion against the present moment. You do not need to wait for another date. Today, you do not need to wait for another prophecy. The mystery is now. The call is now. The doorway opens through simplicity. Sit. Breathe. Focus. In these three acts, the divine begins to rise, not as something added, but as something remembered. The mystery on July 7 was a mirror placed before humanity, not to show its greatness, but to show the distance it has placed between its potential and its actions. In these three acts, the mirror did not condemn, it revealed. And in revelation, there is both power and responsibility. The mystery is not for collectors of spiritual knowledge. It is not an ornament for the ego. It is a quiet challenge to return to what matters, to simplify, to walk lightly, to think deeply, to act with care. The true seeker does not ask for more signs. The true seeker learns to see every moment as a sign. Now, what matters? The true seeker does not ask for more signs. The true seeker learns to see every moment as a rustling leaf, a sudden silence, a tear falling without reason, a child's question. These are not random, they are arrows pointing inward. The mystery revealed on that sacred day was that your inner world creates your outer reality, that what you meditate upon, you become, that what you resist in others, you carry in yourself. That true change in the world begins with one awakened individual who sees clearly, acts humbly, and walks with purpose. As the words say, this is the inner revolution. It requires no banners, no battles, no enemies, only commitment, only honesty, Only the willingness to look within and stay there long enough for the illusions to fall away. When the noise is turned down, the signal becomes clear. This is why discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. It sharpens the inner senses. It purifies the perception. It removes the clouds so the light may shine unfiltered. The signal is preparation. It proves a clear sky. It roofs a clear sky. It sharpens the inner senses. It purifies the perception. It roofs a clear sky. It roofs the clear sky. You do not find the divine, you remove what blocks it. You do not create wisdom, you stop ignoring it. The mystery was never locked. The door was never closed, only your focus was scattered. When one commits to a life of practice, not performance, not pretense, but honest inner work, the mysteries of existence reveal themselves naturally, as a flower opens to sunlight. The question is not whether the mystery was revealed. The question is whether you were prepared to notice it. If a flute is cracked, it cannot carry the wind properly. If the mind is cluttered, the truth will distort as it passes through. The disciplined mind, the trained body, the open heart, these are the instruments of revelation. And just as a musician must tune their instrument, the seeker must tune their being daily, patiently, precisely. The mystery was not in words, but in alignment. The mystery was not in words, but in alignment. Not in a thunderclap, but in the moment you chose to remain still instead of reacting. In a second, you breathed deeply instead of lashing out. In an instant, you forgave instead of holding on. That is the divine at work. That is the mystery in motion. And on July 7, many glimpsed it, not all with understanding, but all with opportunity. Some cried without knowing why. Some changed their path without planning to. Some felt the weight of all their ignored responsibilities suddenly return, not as punishment, but as a call to rise. This is not the time to run. This is not the time to wait. It is the time to awaken. The fire that burns silently in your soul has waited long enough. The world needs your light, not in imitation of others, but in the fullness of your true self. Not perfect, but present. Not flawless, but sincere. The mystery revealed is not far from you. It is in your breath, in your focus, in your actions when no one is watching. Return to that. Return to what is real. Shed what distracts, what inflates, what divides. Be simple, be clear, be still. And the revelation will not only make sense, it will guide you. You will no longer ask, what happened on July 7? You will live the answer every day, in every breath. In every moment you choose to align rather than escape, because that is what readiness looks like. Not waiting for the next prophecy, but becoming a vessel worthy of what has already been given. The mystery is not a secret. It is a responsibility. And now that it has been revealed, the real question remains, what will you do with it? Readiness is often misunderstood. It is not the rush to prepare when danger approaches, nor is it the stacking of external tools, weapons, or knowledge in anticipation of a future moment. True readiness cannot be purchased or worn like armor. It is cultivated in silence. It is the outcome of conscious transformation, not frantic preparation. Most people believe that to be ready is to do more, to hustle harder, to accumulate information and protect themselves with intellect? This is the most important question. And it is the most important answer. To accumulate information and protect themselves with intellect. But such readiness is brittle. It breaks under pressure because it is built on fear. The readiness spoken of in the mystery revealed on July 7, 2025 is of a different nature. It is not reactive, it is reflective. It is not chaotic, it is composed. It is not noisy, it is quiet, deeply rooted in awareness and aligned with something higher than the self. To be truly ready is to have walked through the fires of your own thoughts and emotions and come out with clarity. It means you have taken the time to know yourself. Not the image you show the world, but the truth beneath your defenses. That readiness is forged through consistency in small things. In how you breathe when you are alone. In how you respond when someone tests your patience. In how you carry yourself when no one is watching. It is found in discipline, in humility, and in the unwavering commitment to refine the self day after day. This form of readiness is invisible, but its effects are undeniable. When the world shakes, such a person does not. When storms rise, such a person remains grounded. Not because they are stronger than others, but because they have already made peace with uncertainty. They do not seek control over the world, they seek alignment with truth. The message of July 7 was not a call to stockpile resources. It was not a warning meant to incite panic. It was a whisper, a subtle vibration asking, are you willing to look inward? Are you willing to shed the layers of false identity and stand bare before your own conscience? Because readiness begins with honesty, and honesty cannot exist where there is fear of facing what lies within. The Mysteria challenged everyone not to prepare for an external battle, but to awaken to the internal one, the battle between distraction and attention, between habit and presence, between illusion and reality. If you look at nature, you will understand readiness differently. The tree does not wait for the storm to begin growing strong roots. The bird does not learn to fly when the sky is already filled with wind. They prepare quietly over time by following their nature. Human beings have forgotten this way. We try to force transformation in moments of urgency, but deep change never occurs through force. It is the product of choice made consistently in moments when no one else notices. The path to readiness is simple, but not easy. It asks for daily effort. It asks you to remain faithful to your highest values, even when no reward is immediate. Remaining in this process requires almost nothing, but even so, remaining faithful to your highest values, even when no reward is immediate. Discovery, daily effort, it asks for daily effort. 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 It asks for focus when the world offers distraction. It asks for truth when the world celebrates performance. This form of readiness cannot be faked. It cannot be rehearsed. It must be lived. A calm mind in the face of chaos is not born overnight. It is the result of countless moments when the individual chose to return to breath, return to center, return to discipline. When the mystery was revealed, some heard it and began to panic, but others simply nodded. Not because they knew all the answers, but because they had trained themselves to be still. They had trained themselves to listen, and in that stillness they were able to receive the truth. Readiness does not mean you are without fear. It means fear no longer controls your decisions. It does not mean you are always certain. It means you have learned how to move with integrity, even in uncertainty. There is a posture that the soul adopts when it is ready. It is not stiff, it is not defensive, it is open, grounded and alert. It does not crave praise or recognition. It does not react impulsively. It listens, it watches, it waits. Not with impatience, but with awareness. Readiness means you have cleaned the lens through which you see the world. You are no longer blinded by your desires, your assumptions, your attachments. You see clearly, and because of that clarity, you act purposefully. You do not waste energy on illusions. You do not chase what does not nourish you. You do not speak what is not true. True readiness is a state of inner coherence. It is when your mind, your words, and your actions align. It is when your thoughts no longer contradict your values. It is when your presence brings calm to others, not because you try to be someone special, but because you have become deeply ordinary in the most sacred way. To be ready is to carry peace in your steps. It is to be so inwardly prepared that external events no longer dictate your state. You have already weathered storms inside. You have already confronted your own darkness. So when the outside shifts, you do not flinch. You adapt. You remain faithful to the truth you discovered in your own inner journey. The world often applauds those who move fast, who speak loud, who dominate space. But the mystery reminds us that those who are truly ready are often unnoticed. They are the ones who do not rush, but arrive on time. They are the ones who do not argue, but bring clarity. They are the ones who do not boast, but carry quiet strength. Readiness is a form of love, a love so deep for the truth, for the path, and for others that you are willing to do the work without applause. You are willing to sit in silence so that you may speak with wisdom when the moment arrives. You are willing to stay behind so that you may guide those who are lost. The call is not to impress the world with your outer life. The call is to impress upon your soul the urgency of returning home, to that sacred space within you where the divine has always whispered. Readiness is the fruit of 1,000 small returns. It is the reward of not giving up when your progress is invisible. It is the light that shines when your ego finally steps aside. When July 7 passed, it did not leave behind a prophecy of doom. It left behind a mirror, and in that mirror you can still see your reflection. The question is, are you willing to look honestly? Are you willing to do the slow, sacred work of transforming your inner world so that your outer life becomes a reflection of that truth? This is what it means to be ready. Not to predict the future, but to meet it with peace. Not to control events, but to master your response. Not to escape life, but to embrace it with presence and clarity. In that space, readiness is not something you achieve, it is something you become.